Okay, for the others, you may also want to open your camera so that I have a visual reference in teaching you. Okay, para alam ko naman kung you are really present. Thank you. So, any volunteer to lead us the prayer? Babasahin lang natin yung slide. Or kung gusto nyo, mag-personal prayer kayo, pwede rin naman. Anyway, okay, si Danica. And ikaw na din yung closing prayer, okay? Sige. Marami atang nawalan ng kuryente. Taga, ano yun? Taga Kabugaw ba ang lahat? Or pupunta sa Kabugaw?
Sinait ata.
Ay, sila 8. Ay, sorry.
Kabugaw.
Okay. Although, ano naman, I'm trying to record naman yung yung lesson para makater din yung mga nawalan ng kuryente. Okay, so by 9:35, start na tayo. Hintay lang tayo ng onting pa. So how are you guys? Are we good? Matagal tayong nag-async, tsaka nag-test pa tayo.
Stress malala, sir.
Stress because of ganito pa din, studies,
Decline of contagious.
requirements. Siyempre, hindi lang naman requirements. Meron din tayong gawaing bahay, di ba? Yung mga responsibilities din tayo. Okay? Kaya nga hindi ako masyado nagpapa-activity sa inyo. Di ba? Okay lang yun para unti-unti lang para may mag-grade naman ako sa inyo. Okay? Basta ang point dito, you should learn how to be ethical people para may batayan kayo sa pamumuhay ninyo. Right? Hindi yung kung sino-sino na lang ang ating sinusunod sa buhay. Okay? May kanya-kanya tayong standards in dealing how to live. Okay? Pero mas maganda siguro na gumamit tayo ng standard na naayon talaga towards goodness. Not just by religion, but through rationalizing our actions. Okay? Kaya nga isang branch ng philosophy ang ethics. Okay? Kasi nagdadirect din, dumidiretso din sa atin ito towards our capacity to think for ourselves, the capacity to, examine our conscience, examine our doings. Okay, that's 1 minute. How about the others? Bakit wala po tayong camera? Sarap pa ba ang tulog? Is this your first class for today, my dear students? Yes or no? Okay. Sa hapon meron kayong klase? Wala na. Meron ba tayong graduating dito? Sino yung mga graduating dito sa group 3? Kasi mas maaga ata silang magfa-finals. Oh. So this is our lesson 9. Nakailang lessons na kayo sa ibang klase ninyo? Umabot na kayo sa lesson 9, ganyan? Or unti pa lang? Kung i-align ko ba yung lesson for our graduating? Or shall we end? I don't know. Are you satisfied with the course? Yes na lang. It's 9:35. Okay, wait lang. So, good day, my dear students, and welcome to another lesson for us in ethics. So, we are already in lesson 9. And we are going to discuss how morality affects our culture. So, Before we start, let us first pray the opening prayer. So may I ask Miss Danica to lead us the prayer? Okay, wait lang. Okay, go.
Let us bow our heads into the presence of the Lord in
Glorify His
adoration.
holy name.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Embracing Father, you grace each of us with equal measure in your love. Let us learn to love our neighbors more deeply so that we can create peaceful and just communities. Inspire us to use our creative energies to build the structures we need to overcome the obstacles of intolerance and indifference. May Jesus provide us examples needed and send the Spirit to warm our hearts for the journey in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. So thank you, Miss Danica, for leading us the opening prayer. Okay. So for our learning objectives for today, my dear students, ito yung mga goal natin. Okay. Although it will be short, I think. Short class lang to kasi it's a simple topic. Okay. So first, we will try to articulate what culture means. And we will try to attribute the facets of personal behavior to our culture. And we are going to recognize differences in moral behavior of different cultures. Gaya nung pina-research ko sa inyo, no? So, ang gagawin natin, magpipili ako ng mga research ninyo at doon natin i-recognize yung mga differences nila. And we will also try to identify the distinct Filipino moral norms. And we're going to enumerate the strengths and the weaknesses of the Filipino character. Okay, so first, pili muna ako ng i-represent ko. Okay? Di ba, nag-ask ako na pumili kayo ng mga 5 countries na gusto nyong puntahan and you are to, contrast yung mga exercises. For example, yung mga kanilang greetings, kanilang table manners, dating, circumcision, burial, etc. Okay, so wait lang. Naka-share na ba yung screen? Wala pa. Ayan. Yan, naka-share na, no? Okay? Ayan. So, this is from one of your classmates, no? So, dito, the Philippines, ang ating greetings, ito, may pagmamano tayo. Okay? Meron tayong beso-beso. Okay? Alam natin yan. We are very familiar with that. And greeting each other with a hug and kiss. How about you guys? Do you comfortable ba kayo sa pagkikiss, pag-hug, no, ng mga strangers? 'Di ba? Minsan, lalo na sa Cordillera, hindi sila masyadong expressive sa kanilang mga nararamdaman. Okay? They're more on shy type. Kaya minsan, okay na yung pagnanad, no? Tsaka yung pag-hug, hindi sila masyado ata. Okay? And the table manners, ayan. Kain tayo or tara, kain tayo. Was used to invite everyone to eat. Okay? Yan, maganda yan. Kasi we are emphasizing the value of family. Okay? And we are associating the meals with our family, right? Pero ang nakakalungkot lang ngayon, no? Minsan maraming hiwa-hiwalay na pamilya, hindi nila nagagawa ito. Yung pag-share ng meals, okay? And sometimes we also use our hands to eat, okay? And we pray before eating. And sa dating naman, no? Tayo, nanliligaw muna tayo, okay? Nagtatanong tayo kung pwede bang manligaw or meron daw harana dito. Pero we don't know, no? Kung meron pa bang harana. Sino na yung na-try na maharanaan dito? Meron pa ba yung mga naghaharana dito? Yung mga kalalakihan, do you still sing for your girlfriends? Can someone answer or wala na?
Wala na. Hindi
Or
na ata uso yung
hindi na
ano.
uso? Bakit? Ano na lang, magsasend na lang ng, i-flex mo na lang sila sa IG or other social media accounts. Okay na yan. That's how you, uh,
Dati,
no, di ba? Iba-iba na yung ano eh, yung ating signs of the times. And next one, circumcision or yung pagtutuli. So in the Filipino culture, circumcision or tuli is a long-standing practice and the rite of passage for boys. Okay? Sino yung mga hindi pa natuli dito? No? Pero sino yung, di ba may nursing tayo dito? Can someone answer this question? Ano ba yung sole purpose ng circumcision? Napag-aralan niyo ba to sa
to clean sir. Parang ganun.
Danica?
Clean sir. To clean yung mga nasa loob-loob.
Yung excess,
Tapos para
yes. So, it is a hygienic practice, tama ba, Danica?
parang ganun po.
Okay, thank you. So, in the Philippines, ang ating burial, no, 3 to 7 days is usual. And donating money or food is considered a buloy. Okay? We serve foods and drinks, tsaka marami pang superstitious belief na tayong pinapaniwalaan. Okay? Next one is South Korea. Okay? So, ito, nakikita natin to sa K-drama, no? Sa kanilang pagrespeto sa nakakatanda or sa kahit sino man, no? They bow to greet also. And they say, "Annyeonghaseyo." Okay? Sa kanilang table manners, okay? They use spoons for soup and they use chopsticks mainly. Okay? And sa kanilang dating, okay, ayaw nilang pinapakita ang kanilang affection. Okay? Must be kept in private. Okay? Siguro napakatapang mo na kung makikipag sweet ka, no? Magpi-PDA ka sa labas. Okay? But sabi dito, no, it is common to see people holding hands, kissing or offering a peck. So dito sa research nito, parang nag-contradict pero we don't know ano ba talaga. And male circumcision in South Korea is expected to be on the decline. No? Hindi na nauuso siguro. Okay? So kung gusto nyo ng Korean, no, expect na more likely hindi sila tuli. Okay? So Korean funerals endure 3 days and 2 nights. At all hours, funeral attendees pay their respects, dine and lament at the funeral home. Okay? So, wag na nating tapusin, no? So, ito yung mga differences. No? Nakita natin. Although sa ating mga Asian countries, parang magkakalapit lang din po. Okay? So, let's go back to our discussion. Yeah. So, my dear students, according to Geertz, I don't know, he is a cultural anthropologist. He said that culture is not just an ornament of existence, but the principal basis of specific, specificity, an essential condition for it. So, culture, Geertz argues, is an essential condition for the human behavior and experience. So this position recognizes that human experience and identity are culturally embedded and are constructed discursively in language, no? Magmamanifest siya sa language, sa ating mga stories, sa ating mga ritual, no? At saka sa ating pananalita, pananamit, etc. Okay? So that is according to this cultural anthropologist, Clifford Geertz. So culture is that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, morals, law, custom, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. So sabihin natin, ang culture, it is the grand sum, overall sum of everything within a group of people or a region. No? So, ulitin ko, magmamanifest siya sa ating pananalita, siguro sa ating behavior also, of course, sa ating history, the tradition, ideas of people, no? Etc. So it all forms an abstract definition which is impossible to put down into words. Kasi sometimes ma-feel na lang natin, ay, ito, Bisaya to. Ay, ito, Ilocano ito. No? Kasi we feel sometimes. But everyone belonging to the culture just knows. No? Malalaman na lang natin. Okay? Malalaman na lang natin yung mga kung ano yung mindset ng mga group of people na ito, their quirks, their languages, and the commonalities of the people. Okay? So, for example, sabi nila, basta Ilocano, kuripot. I don't know kung that's true. No? Kayo ba, kuripot pa kayo mga Ilocano? Tayong mga Ilocano, I should say. Okay? So, the origin of the Latin word cultura is clear. Okay? So, it is a derivative of the verb colo. No? It is the infinitive of colere, meaning to tend and to cultivate and to till. No? So another possible object of the verb colo is animus, okay? Which means character. So in that case, the expression would refer to the cultivation of the human character. Okay? Consequently, the Latin noun cultura can be associated with education and our refinement to ourselves. So, my dear students, the sociologists describe two interrelated aspects of human culture. The first one is the subjective or non-material culture, and the second one is the objective or the material culture. So first, the subjective or the non-material culture. So it is viewed as something invisible that resides in people's minds. Okay? So this is the inclusive of the intangible human creation that include beliefs, our values, our norms, and symbols. Okay? So the non-material culture refers to the non-physical, yung hindi natin nakikita, that people have about their culture. So ito yung beliefs, values, norms, morals, language, our organizations, our institutions. So for instance, the non-material cultural concept of religion consists of a set of ideas, of standards about God, kung sino yung ating Diyos, on how we worship, on morals and ethics. So these beliefs then determine how the culture responds to its religious topics, issues, and events. So next one, the objective or the material culture. Okay? So the material culture or the objective culture can be conceptualized as created by individuals and residing outside them. Okay? So these are the art objects, yun ang mga nakikita natin, the clothing, yung trabaho ng community, the instruments, no, the residential constructions. Okay? So these are examples of the visual cultural artifacts. So for example, dito sa Bigan, ano ba yung mga nakikita natin? No? Can someone uh, give an objective or material example? Okay, Danica. Dito sa Vegan,
Yung old Spanish houses.
o yung mga old Spanish houses. What else? Yung mga visible. Oh, Danica.
Physically sa survey.
Mm-mm. How about can you give a non-material or subjective, something that is invisible to the eye na cultural basis ng mga tao, for example? Sa vegan, ano yung mga ugali ng mga tao dito? Any other volunteers than Danica? Sino yung iba? How about Jana Angela? Are you here? Jana, are you here? Wala ata. Okay, can you help now, Danica? Okay.
So yung salita, yung parang mas sweet po sila, yung hindi masyadong matono. Yung as they say. Tapos mabababaw lang yung mga salita compare sa mga Ilocano places. Mas
Mm-mm.
mas
Di ba?
malalalim po yung mga salita na na-acquire po nila.
Yes, tama. Mga iba-ibang terminologies din ang nagagamit, tsaka mas madaling maintindihan ang Ilocano ng vegan. Are you referring to that or Ilocos? Di ba? Sinasabi nila, nabasa ti Ilocano na. Kasi sa amin mga kabra, iba din yung pag-iilocano din namin. Kaya ma-identify mo kung sino yung mga taga Ilocos, tsaka kung sino yung mga taga Upland Ilocanos. Okay? So thank you, Danica, for your help. So going back to here, no, material culture. Okay? Material culture can also refer to the physical objects. Gaya ng ano sinabi ni Danica, yung mga Spanish old houses. Okay? So, they also refer to the resources, kung ano yung produkto, and even the spaces that people use to define their culture. So, this include homes, the neighborhoods, the cities, the schools, churches, synagogues, temples, etc. Okay? So all these physical aspects of a culture help to define its members' behaviors and perceptions. For example, sa US, no, technology is a vital aspect of the material culture in that place. Okay, dito naman sa rural areas, no, farming is the vital aspect of our material culture. No? Sana klaro sa inyo 'yon. Okay. So ito naman sa non-material culture. Ay sometimes also yung mga non-material culture nagmamanifest din po sa ating material culture. So for instance, in the value of our conservatism, yung mga conservatives natin, no? 'Di ba hindi naman nakikita yung value, no? It cannot be seen by the naked eye. Pero nagmamanifest siya through our material culture. So nakikita natin, no? Meron silang merong gumagamit ng hijab, no? Sa ating mga Muslim sisters. Okay. So now, understanding the moral self in the cultural aspect. So here, sabi dito, truthfully, we use our culture's norms to determine whether our choices reflect the real, the good, and the beautiful, or if they offend our moral principles. Tama nga naman, no? Kapag may gagawin tayo or may plano tayong gawin, lalong-lalo na sa mga ibang places, no? Lalo na yung mga communities na they are closely tied together, iisipin nila ano kayang magiging reaksyon ng mga nakakatanda dito. No, will it be acceptable to my neighbors? No? Anong sasabihin ng mga marites sa lugar namin, for example, no? Yan yung mga simple na lang na example. So here, people's moral behavior is definitely influenced by what was taught to him as right, proper, and acceptable in his cultural context. So, nagmumula talaga ang ating behavior sa ating upbringing, no? Lalong-lalo na sa ating pamilya, kung paano tayo pinalaki, at kung paano nila ibinigay ang mga aral sa ating buhay. And we become conscious of the many do's and don'ts, ought and ought nots in our society as we grow up. So reflecting the cherished values of our own people as this was acquired via the process of socialization. Okay, so we acquire the things that we do right now through the process of socialization. Okay? So na-adapt din natin kung ano ang ginagawa ng iba. Okay? So for example, sa aming mga seminarista noon, mag-a-apostolate kami every summer. Okay? Pupunta kami sa mga lugar na hindi kami familiar. So sabi nila, you will go there to have your apostolate of presence. So the only rule there is to do what they do. Okay? So kung manginginom yung community, syempre, makikihalubilo ka dun. So kung talagang hardworking yung community, you will go there. So ganun yung mga, you know, gawain namin doon before, nung seminarista pa ako, yung pag-apostolate namin. So, by that, no, if you live long to a community, doon, in the process of socialization, you can also adapt their deeds or their actions or their culture. No, kahit na hindi ka napanganak doon, basta as long as you uh, immerse yourself in that community for long, no, you will adapt. Okay, next. So let's try to discuss about the functions of culture. So first, culture provides identity to the people in the society. Okay? So a person's understanding of their own and other identities develops from birth and is shaped by the values and attitudes prevalent at home and in the surrounding community. Okay? Do you agree with this? No? Let me take an example on the perception of love, no? Kasi may nabasa ko noon, no? On how we perceive love, no? Nanggagaling ito kung paano ipinakita ng ating mga magulang. So for example, paano ba pinakita ng mga magulang mo ang pagmamahal is are through their, siguro through giving gifts, no? So in the future, yan din ang hahanapin mo. So your love language will become that, yung the act of giving. Minsan naman yung mga pinadanas ng mga magulang ang pagmamahal towards their effort, towards their care in the future, no? Ganun din ang paghahanap mo soon. You will ask for someone who will care for you, who will give time for you, okay? So dito, ang point dito, no? Our identity develops from birth, okay? So kung paano tayo pinalaki, kung paano ang ating upbringing, doon din magmumula, no? That's the root cause of our culture, okay? So next one, our culture mirrors the laws of the land. So culture even influences law, and law also influences culture. So for example, an egalitarian culture may establish laws that respect the rights of individuals and guarantee that these rights are not to be violated. Okay? That's for the number 2. And number 3, culture unifies people in ways that only those who belong in the society understands. So here, my dear students, our culture shapes the way we work and play, and it makes a difference in how we view ourselves and others. So it affects our values, no? What we consider as right and wrong. No? So this is how the society we live in influences our choices. But take note, our choices can also be influenced by others and ultimately help shape our society. Okay? So minsan, nanggagaling din sa atin, no? Kahit na siguro ayaw natin yung culture natin, no? We still have the capacity to choose. And number 4, our culture influences our concept of morality. So culture here refers to the outlook or to the attitudes, the values, goals, and practices shared by a certain group or an organization or a society. So the interpretation of what is moral is influenced by our cultural norms. And different cultures can have different beliefs about what is right and wrong, no? Dito sa atin sa Ilocanda siguro, no? ah, maditay kaya't iti agbibinales. Okay? But sometimes sa mga may mga tribal wars pa, no? Sometimes for them, yun yung standard nila. Okay? Kung may sinaktan sa grupo ninyo, for example, it is just right na mag-take revenge ka din sa other group. No? So, malaking bearing ang ating cultural influence sa ating morality. So, I hope you remember these things, my dear students. Now we try to learn. Before we go there, are there any questions? Are we on the same page? Okay. So let's move on. Let's try to learn the distinct Filipino moral norms that was studied by this brother, Vitaliano Gorospe, SJ. Okay? So first, tayo daw mga Filipinos, no? Meron tayong sense of group-centeredness or group thinking. So once a group determines for the individual what is right and wrong, okay? So the individual who has not yet attained moral independence and maturity will ask, no, yung mga dependent pa lang, no, iisipin niya, what will my family or my relatives and friends or barkada think or say? No? Bago siya gumawa ng thing, for example. What will others say? So, kinoconsider niya ang opinion ng others. No? So, this determines our Filipino moral behavior. No? So, we can say that ito, no, it is a conscience from the outside. No? Kasi hindi mo naman sariling konsyensya ang nagsasabi sa'yo or nagdi-lead sa'yo kung ano dapat ang iyong gagawin. Okay? So for instance, parents will tell their daughter who is being courted. No? Sasabihin niya sa anak niyang nadiligawan, Iha, please entertain your boyfriend at home. No? Kapag magde-date kayo, wag na lang sa labas. No? Do not go outside. No? Kasi anong sasabihin ng iba? Anong sasabihin ng mga kapitbahay natin? No? Nakakahiya naman. Okay? Yun. Yun yung isang example. So, shame or hiya, the thing of hiya makes the parents and the girl conform to the social expectations of the neighbors, lest they become the object of chismis or gossip. No? So, yun yung very toxic din minsan, no? na sometimes sorry for the term, no, we do not know how to not to give a fuck, kasi there's a book na nabasa ko na ganyan, no. Kasi dito, no, masyado tayong nagre-rely kung ano yung iisipin ng tao, no. Tama ba ako, no? Iniisip niyo muna kung ano ang sasabihin ng mga marites na nakapaligid sa inyo.
Yes po.
Yes, no? Kahit na siguro hindi ka napaka-interesadong tao, papatulan at papatulan ka pa din ng mga chismosa, mga chismoso. It's a reality because ganito nga eh, no? We are Filipinos, mahilig sa mga chismis. Okay? So here, no, there is a conflict between the individual and the social morality. There's a conflict between our internal conscience and the external morality. No? So remember na ang group-centeredness is a conscience from the outside. Sometimes this can also be good kung ang iyong group ay nakakatulong sa'yo. No? Pero hindi naman tayo pare-parehas ng mindset. No? Yung iba, no, pwede mong ikasira ang kanilang mga ideas or mga suggestions. Okay? So, in philosophy and in ethics, no, mas pinapaniwalaan natin, no, for you to really think for yourself. Next one. We Filipinos have this don't be caught attitude. So this is based on shame or fear of the authority figure, no? Authority figure may they be our parents, our teachers, our government, a priest or a policeman. Okay? As one law student puts it, no? Sabi niya, what's wrong with cheating in exam as long as you do not get caught? No? Anong masama sa pag-cheat kung di naman ako mahuhuli? Okay? So during the war, no example, it was told that a prison official of Muntinlupa addressed his new prisoners. Sabi niya dun sa mga prisoners, dito sa Munti, walang 10 commandments. You can obey or break the rules as you please, but may God help you if you get caught. Okay? So, my students, this norm of moral behavior also give rise to a conflict in the individual between the don'ts of the authority figure and what everybody else does. Okay? I repeat, this norm of moral behavior also gives rise to a conflict in the individual between the don'ts of the authority figure and what everybody else does. Okay? Kapag wala yung authority, for example, no? Yung dilemma siguro ng tao dito, no, yung doer, gagawin ko pa ba yung rule kapag wala naman yung teacher, no? For example, sa streets ninyo, may no smoking placard doon. Wala ka naman nakikitang pulis. So sasabihin mo, wala namang nagbabantay, so magyosin na lang ako dito. Okay? So we Filipinos, sabi ni Gorospe, no, we have this don't be caught attitude. And number 3, we Filipinos have this complacency when one is aware but is not concerned. So the individual who feels secure and comfortable with the status quo sees no need for change. So some individuals see the problem, but it is too, but it is not frightening for them. Okay, or it is frightening sometimes. Okay, so hence they are afraid to make a decision and initiate change because it is painful and difficult. So this is the attitude of timidity. Okay, so others try to escape from their real problems. So they escape from confrontation with the real issue in their lives, and hence they raise up pseudo problems as camouflage, no? Binabalewala nila yung mga totoong dinadanas nilang problema. Okay? Tayong mga Pilipino, no? More ay some or most, I should say, lalong-lalo na yung mga nakakatanda, hindi sila naniniwala sa sa mga mental health issues natin. No? Sinasabi nila, ay arte lang 'yan. Arte mo lang 'yan. Hindi ka kasi nasanay sa may hirap na dinanas namin noon, no? So ganyan-ganyan sila. Okay? So ano ang tendency ng tao, for example? No, yung bata, siyempre, magiging ano na siya, complacent. No? Hindi niya tututukan talaga yung totoong problema na meron siyang mental health problem. So, they he or she will come up with a pseudo problem as a camouflage. Okay? So next one, our rationalization. So people who know they are doing wrong but they do not want to change easily find excuses like, for example, nagkamali na nga siya. Sasabihin niya na lang, ay, tao lang naman ako. Or, mahirap ang kanyang pamumuhay kasi hindi siya nagtatrabaho. Sasabihin niya, ganyan lang naman ang buhay. Life is like this. Saka, wala siyang kaplano-plano sa buhay. Sasabihin niya, bahala na, come what may. Ginagawa naman ng mga iba ito, so gagawin ko na ito. So in this age of passing the buck, no, is another excuse for shrinking personal responsibility in the Filipino attitude. Okay? So I hope you remember this Philippine Ways by Vitaliano Gorospe. The first one, we are group-centered. No? We think of our surroundings. We have this don't be caught attitude. No? And we have this complacency when one is aware but is not concerned. And we have this rationalization. The thing here, my dear students, is nasabi lang ito ni Grospe in order for us to be aware of what is the prevalent attitude of the Filipino ways. Hindi dahil sinabi na ito ni Grospe, magiging ganito na tayo all throughout. No? Sinabi ito in order for us to assess whether kung tama ba ang ating mga gawain ito or what are the things that we need to improve. Right? So now, deepening. Let me ask you, my dear students. So what are the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino value system? Aside from those you find in books and online sources, what else can you add? Anyone? In your own opinion, ano yung mga maganda tsaka yung kahinaan din natin mga Pilipino? Danica.
Para po sa akin, yung strength na po is, yung pag meron mga foreigner na pumupunta dito siya, parang nagugustuhan nila yung culture natin.
Mm-mm.
So parang mas ina-adapt nila or mas na may papapuso po nila sa ganun po.
Okay. So they're very comfortable with us, no, because of our hospitality.
Yes,
Yes.
Tapos yung weaknesses niya naman po siya para sa akin is masyado tayong hindi natin naiisip yung sarili natin sir, or hindi tayo nakakagawa ng kahit na ano man na hindi minamind ko ano sasabihin ng iba. So para katulad na po sinabi mo sir, meron tayong ugay na yung group-centered niya sir. So
Yes.
parang yung weakness niya po is parang kung hindi natin magawa kung anong gusto natin, hindi natin may pakita kung ano talaga tayo, hindi natin masabi kung anong gusto natin sabihin.
Yes, that's how our Filipino society works. Pero dahil na sinabi ko kanina, no, you must remember na hindi naman lahat ng pagiging group-centered is that toxic. Kasi ang mas maganda siguro you surround yourself with a group that is willing to help you with your life. Okay? Sometimes outside conscience can be good. No? Kasi minsan, kapag overwhelmed na tayo sa ating mga sarili, no, hindi natin kayang mag-isip, mag-rationalize for ourselves. But we need the opinions of others. Okay? Thank you, Danica. Any other volunteers to share what are the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino value system? How about the others? Uh, Enrico Bringas, are you here? Ading? Absent ata. Ayan, si Enrico. Okay, you're here pala. What do you think, Ading, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino value system for you, in your own opinion? Pwedeng magbigay ka ng strength, pwede ka din magbigay ng isang weakness. Simplihan mo lang. Okay. Let's give him time to think. Say it whenever you're ready. Meron na, Enrico? Or any other... Ayan, okay. Enrico, go.
The strength, sir.
Yes.
The yung Pilipino, sir, marunong sila makiramdam or yung may
Very good.
utang na loob sila, sir.
Yes. Okay, coming from that, no? Sa ating mga Pilipino, meron tayong sense of utang na loob. For example, our parents took care of us when we are little. And in the same way, sa ating utang na loob, pag tayo naman ay tumanda, may trabaho na, at saka pag talagang tumanda na din ang ating mga parents, we will also try and we will take care of them. No? Parang in return of their love and care for us. Very good. And ano yun naman yung weakness para sa'yo, Enrico?
Sir, the lack of discipline or agkanya-kanyada, sir, kasi hanggang titinulong.
When pag kanya-kanya. Coming from that also, no, mayroon tayong mga nakikilalang pamilya na kapag tumanda na ang magkakapatid, no, magkakanya-kanya na sila. Sometimes di na din nagpapansinan. Parang wala silang pinagsamahan noong bata pa sila. So, we Filipinos have these close family ties and we should always emphasize that. So, thank you, Enrico Bringas. So, next question. What do you think, can you think of a distinct Ilocano moral norm? No? I mean, most of us naman dito are Ilocanos. So what are these? Can you see them affecting your moral behavior? Anyone? Sinong may alam dito ng Ilocano moral norm? Okay, Danica.
So, para po sa akin, yung Ilocano moral norms is yung magpapadigo kasi.
Magpapadigo?
Yung magpapadigo or yung, yes sir, yung nagbibigay ka ng
Food.
pagkain sa
Kapitbahay.
pag may handaan or ano man sir. So, para sa akin, Ilocano moral norms yun sir. And doon po sa, can you see them affecting your moral behavior? Yes sir, nakaka-affect. Nakikita ko na nakaka-affect siya sa moral behavior ko in a good way po sir na parang gusto mong magbigay kasi masarap sa feeling na parang ganun po sir. Pero hindi naman po siya in a bad way na nakaka-affect sa moral behavior ng tao po sir.
Okay, very good. Very good. Tama yung pag-share. The act of sharing, it can affect our moral behavior. One of the examples of Ilocano moral norms is yung pagtiwala natin sa mga panglakayin. Alam niyo ba yun? yung pag-refer natin sa mga desisyon ng mga nakakatanda. Okay? So this is a kind of a outside conscience din. Although, no, sinasabi naman nila na ammo dagiti panglakayan iti pagsayaatan. Okay? So ito yung mga prevalent naman sa mga communities, sa mga Cordillera, etc. Although Ilocano din naman. Okay? So thank you. Any other Ilocano moral norms that you can think of? Other than Danica? Meron ba? Mahirap din eh. Hindi din ako makaisip. Meron pa, Danica. Help us.
Yung bigibugbaga nga kuripot tayo nga Ilocano sir, moral ng sir. Tapos, Iggy, can you see affecting sir? Yes sir, nakaka-affect din siya para sa akin sir. Pero, para sa akin, in a good way siya nakaka-affect sa moral behavior sir. Kasi, doon mo makikita na ibig sabihin pinalaki ka na dapat unahin mo yung mga needs mo bago
Tama.
yung mga wants mo sir. So, para, kaya ka naging kuripot as an Ilocano, kahit hindi Ilocano sir, pero kaya ka naging kuripot kasi alam mong i-value yung money na nasa sayo. Kasi alam mo na mahirap kumita, lalo sa panahon ngayon. So, parang mag-think twice ka kung bibilin mo ba to or kung may nagawa ka bang maganda para mabili mo yon or para ma-rewardan mo yung sarili mo.
Okay, very good. So, for you, pagiging kuripot is also a positive aspect. No? So, very good. Hindi naman ini-stereotype no, na lahat ng Ilocano ay kuripot. Sometimes, depende din sa ating upbringing kung paano ka pinalaki. That is from Danica. Very good. Okay. Okay. Ito. Your students, do you think that the 4 distinct Filipino moral norms mentioned by Vitaliano, yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, are still applicable today? No? If yes, does that mean that we have not progressed at all, morally speaking? If no, what are the changes that you can think of as regards to Filipino moral norms? No? So what do you think? Ganyan pa din ba tayong mga Pilipino, yung mga pinag-usapan natin kanina? Anyone? How about the others? Don't be shy. Or are you sleepy already? Malapit na matapos to. Okay, Danica.
Para sa akin sir, applicable pa rin po siya ngayon. Lalo na
Okay.
sa mga Gen Z. Lalo na yung una sir, yung
Group-centeredness.
Yes, sir, group centeredness. Pero dun po sa pangalawang kasi na cases that mean that we have not progressed at all morally speaking. So, nagpo-progress naman po. Hindi naman po ibig sabihin na nag-exist pa rin po siya ngayon. Hindi na po tayo nagpo-progress throughout the years have passed. Pero, kasi para sa akin sa yung progress ko is gradually po siya. So, hindi naman yung drastic na kaagad na throughout the years. So, nagpo-progress po tayo pero unti-unti. Pero, tinetry pa rin po natin na ma-cut yun pero hindi po siya madaling i-cut. Lalo na naging culture na po natin. So, hindi ibig sabihin na hindi tayo nagpo-progress. Ganun po.
So, what can you think of a solution towards that progress that we can apply?
Yung solution po sir is
para mag-improve man lang ang ating mga toxic traits.
yung ano po sir,
I mean improve, we change for the better, I should say. Okay.
Yung magiging ano niya po sir is i-try po natin sa next generation na kung may next generation man po, i-try natin na i-apply sa kanila na dapat kung anong gusto mong gawin, ganun. So, para every generation, sir, is merong makikitang progress. And unti-unti na mawala po yung ugali natin na magiging centered po tayo sa lahat, sa surroundings po natin.
Okay, thank you so much, Danica. So the next question, using the 4 distinct Filipino moral norms mentioned by Vitaliano Gorospe, will you please cite examples or your real life scenarios wherein Filipinos have manifested these 4 moral norms? You can take one example of the Filipino way at saka you can relate it to yourself. Give a concrete example. Anyone? Okay, for example, sa group-centeredness. Okay? Ako, nung seminarista pa ako, no, sumisipag lang naman ako mag-aral because of my very competitive classmates, seminarian friends. Okay? So, yung nakikita ko sa labas, yun yung nagdetermine kung ano ang ginagawa ko. So, day by day, no, ganun yung ginagawa nila. Therefore, na-develop ko na din ang mag-study. So, doon ko na-hone ang study habits ko from my high school life in a minor seminary. How about you? How can you relate the Filipino ways in your own life? Can you give your examples also? How about the others? Okay, Danica.
Easy, don't because something, sir, ganun po, na ano ni
Anong way yan?
Italian. Yung don't be caught
Ay, don't be caught
attitude.
attitude. Yes, wait lang. Balikan natin. Yan.
Yes, sir, yan po. So, yung examples niya naman po, sir, para sa akin. Meron po, naghuhugas po kasi ako nun, sir. Tapos meron akong nabasag na, tawag nito na, para, basta meron akong
Pinggan,
nabasag.
baso ba yan?
Nakalimutan ko, basta meron akong specific na hulog. Hindi naman siya, hindi ko naman siya, accident po siya, sir. Kasi tawag nito, nagsasabon po ako. So, wala pong makakita. So, ang ginawa ko po, sir, is, tinapon ko na lang na para, tinapon ko na yung parang walang nakakita, sir. Ganun po, sir. So, parang, yun po yung naano ko na don't be caught attitude na examples po.
Pero iniingatan ba yun ng parent mo or your mother? Hinanap ba niya after?
Hindi po, sir. Kasi
Oo,
ko rin
diba? So, in this sense, sa Filipino way, no, that don't be caught attitude, you are safe. Okay? So,
yes, sir.
meron kang fear sa authority figure, pero hindi nalaman. So, ngayon, you are relaxed. Okay? So, as my personal example din, no, sa don't be caught attitude, this is very prevalent in the seminary setting. Or even sa school, okay? Meron tayong adage na when the cat is away, the mouse will play. Okay? Ganon din sa classroom setting. No, lalong-lalo na pag face-to-face. Kapag wala yung teacher, magloloko ang lahat. No? Meron mga matutulog, may yung mga palaro-laro dyan, etc. No? Ganon din sa amin sa seminary noon nung panahong loko-loko pa ako. No? Kapag wala yung mga formators, no? Meron kaming tinatawag na NPA. Anong meaning namin ng NPA? No priests around. So, kapag anong ginagawa namin pag no priests around? Ayan, minsan, nagloloko-loko kami. No? Kung saan-saan kami pupunta. Nag-e-escape kami, pero hindi yung tama. Okay? So, that's an example of the don't be caught attitude. Kapag wala na yung authority figure, ang tayong mga Pilipino or tayo, no? Mas nagiging complacent tayo or relax, no? Hindi tayo natatakot kung ano ang mangyari. Any other sharers? Anyone who would like to share also? Your real life scenarios wherein you can relate to the Philippine ways by Gorospe. Okay, so if none, let's try to synthesize our discussion. So, my dear students, culture plays an important role in our moral behavior. So, as members of the society, we acquire the beliefs, our attitudes, our norms, laws, and many others that our society's culture consists of. So, we also continuously adapt to the dynamic nature of our culture. Ang ating kultura, hindi lang konkretong ganun na, pero dynamic siya. Araw-araw, merong little changes. Mapapansin na lang natin yan in the long run. So, also in our case as Filipinos, defining and understanding the values in Filipino culture is our first step in explaining our moral behavior and tracing our moral development. So it is important that we identify the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino value system. Kaya natin ginawa yun para malaman natin kung ano yung dapat nating uh, not correct, pero i-rectify and to, develop to be better. Okay? So we also need to take note of the distinct Filipino moral norms. So yun ang ginawa natin kanina. So any other questions, clarifications, or concerns about the lesson for today or even the course? Anyone? Question? Wala ba?
None, sir.
None, sir. Okay. So did you learn something new today? Or did you sleep well? Kasi, kasi hindi nag-open ng camera yung iba eh. Okay? So, kapag may nahihiya kayo siguro, no, you can just send a message sa akin. Kapag may hindi ako klaro na sabi or hindi tama yung nasabi ko, you can just tell me. Okay? So, thank you for my 19 students. No, madami tayong absent ngayon. Okay? So, as we end, may I ask Miss Danica again to lead us the closing prayer. You can have it personal or ikaw na bahala, Danica. Wait, paki-open muna yung camera muna natin for me to get your attendance. Please open your cameras. Ayan, present. I hope you are listening, my dear students. Thank you. So I'll be saving. Ayan. Smile. Okay. So as we end, let us first pray. Okay, Danica, can you lead us the prayer now?
Okay. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and our Father, who art in heaven, holy be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into that temptation, but deliver us from evil. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen. So thank you, my dear students. God bless. Take care and study your lessons well.
Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.